So today I wanted to give you guys a pros and cons of basically the Samsung S95B, and then also talking about what you lose through the years from something like the 2018 Samsung Q8FN to the right versus, again, the brand new Samsung S95B to the left. Because all that glitters isn't always gold. And I do want to talk about, again, what you are losing. So smack a like on this video because we're getting to the point right now. Features, in a nutshell, is the biggest downgrade coming from the Samsung Q8FN to the Samsung S95B in a way. So let me elaborate. So when you start using the television, you're going to notice when you hit the home button, if you come from something like the 2018 Samsung Q8FN, it has a very different feel to it. The first thing you'll notice is that the menu interface just kind of takes you to this big giant hub. It's not really well laid out like this bottom one down here where everything is literally just laid out like so. Like it's literally all just laid out. At the bottom, you can then go to your sources, which has a dedicated source tab. And then from there, you can rearrange your sources and move them around. This menu flows very intelligently and it makes sense to the right on the Samsung Q8FN. Now to the left, the menu is a bit clunky and stupid. So you kind of have a little of everything going on here. Like at the top here, you have just like a clusterfuck of apps. Like these apps don't make sense. I don't understand why we need so many of them in one spot. And it shows you recent, so it'll show you your source that's active. But again, if you want to get to other sources, it's a bit of a hassle. You have to go all the way down to menu after already hitting the home button. Then you've got to go over to connected devices. Then you have to go down and then you can access your connected devices. Where before, I literally shit you not, it's as easy as just grabbing your remote on the Q8FN, hitting the home button, and then scrolling over until you see sources. It's so much easier, where the Samsung Q890B is stupid, like in the way that you have to navigate around and like really fight your way through the user interface. Now, I don't know if they think this is more like intelligent or like more of a smart feature, but it's really stupid. And the settings button doesn't alleviate this by giving you like a source option within the menu itself. So if you hit the settings button, all that's going to do is just open up settings, which again, you guys can see here, just literally opens up settings. I have no interest in that if I'm trying to get to sources, and there's no way to navigate to sources from there either. So these are like just a couple of the like super annoyingly inconvenient things that I found going from one TV to the next. Now we've established how annoying it is jumping from source to source, but it doesn't just stop there. If you wanted to use the Ambient Mode, it would be very difficult to even find it on this Samsung if you don't navigate through the menus. Practically, literally impossible, actually. Because on the Samsung Q8FN, they've got a little button on the remote to the far right, and you click that, and it'll take you straight to Ambient Mode. There you go, problem solved, you're where you want to be. But to do the same thing on the Samsung S95B, you have to open up the home menu by pressing the home button. Then you have to scroll not just to media, then you have to go up to ambient and then select ambient mode. From there, you're still not activated in the ambient mode because now you have to scroll through and select exactly what you want. And then finally, after that, you've fully activated ambient mode. You see, everything on the Samsung S95B, when we talk about the features that they offer, is just more of an involved process of you scrolling through a menu, digging through a convoluted menu system to pull out the feature that you actually want. Some people might even swear that this feature is gone because the button is removed off the remote and it doesn't directly present itself easily if you're not diving around the menu. Now, I've talked about this in my prior videos, but features, again, continuing with something that really is unfortunate here. On the Q8FN, if you look to the bottom left-hand corner over here, if you can make that out, that says HDR Plus mode. This is the biggest deal-breaking, gut-punching feature that they have ripped out. I mean, it's just completely guts anyone who knows how to actually use this feature because this removes Samsung's creative ability entirely. Where they would have been several thousand times better than they are, probably quite literally, now they're just really great. And I think that's the problem here. People don't keep tabs on the features we used to have in these TVs. And if you're buying and then you're coming back to the market, maybe you don't think to check these things. But it's important that you always, always, always comparatively check the features that you get, because 9 times out of 10 these days, you're almost immediately always getting less. So HDR plus mode, what's the big deal about it? It gives you access to particular color options you don't have on the new television. So I want you to take a look at all the color spaces that I have access to. I have DCI P3, Rec 709, and BT 2020 on the Samsung Q8FN because of that HDR Plus feature. Now, unfortunately, all I have access to on the Samsung is auto, normal, and native. Now, I want to talk about something that's really negative about the Samsung S95B. I finally run into a glitch where when you use the custom color space, you actually end up crushing out all the metadata and destroying your image quality. So a calibration is truly not possible on this display, because look what happens when you go to custom. Everything crushes out, all your information is ruined, destroyed, and it's just a glitch or a bug of this TV right now, so you do have to wait for firmware to fix that. So while the custom mode by default already wasn't worth much of anything anyway, it gets even worse, because now look at it. Now you really can't use it, because if you want to calibrate, you can't, because look, auto is the base. Let's be very real. Auto is the base, which defaults to Rec 709, which we can confirm because I just put the Q8FN and the Rec 709, and they look very identical. Of course, the Q8FN looks more washed out, but you get the idea. The OLED is obviously making Rec 709 look a little bit better, but you guys, again, are getting the idea. Rec 709 is the base for auto. And again, not having the hue saturation and luminance way of being able to fix that, you're kind of up, it's creek without a paddle, right? Now, again, when you have a calibration mode that literally crushes all your metadata and all of the information in your footage or in your scene or in your content, this is a useless feature. So now every single calibrator will have to wonder if they're going to run into this bug randomly, like I did. Again, it's something that you just have to deal with. And I think that's the most unforgivable thing for somebody looking to get an image accurate picture, or somebody who is trying to calibrate the custom mode to get a little bit more. Now, being very real with you, native is the best mode here anyway, so I recommend you just set it there. But if you wanted to use the custom mode, as you can clearly see, you don't have the option, and that's something that the Samsung Q8FN doesn't do to you. So to prove this to you, I want to show you, okay? So we only have 3 modes on the Samsung Q8FN as far as color space. Now, most Samsung TVs these days at the QLED level and lower are gonna have only these color space options that you have on the Q8FN. And that consists essentially of auto, native, and custom. But notice how I scroll through auto, normal, which is new this year for Samsung, native, which we've had, and then we go to custom. Notice how, again, when I go from native to custom on the Q8FN, nothing happens. You're not losing all that information. To further prove that this is a bug of the Samsung S95B, and it's something that really gets on my nerves personally, because now you're right back to having only 3 workable color space modes. Again, you can only use native really anyway if you really want beautiful color, because normal is a little bit too muted. Auto is Rec 709 washed out 30-year-old garbage. And if you wanted to calibrate, which frankly doesn't do much of anything anyway, you're limited in scope. So it's again, I can't stress one of these things that like super suck. And it's again, right back to that feature thing we were talking about with the Samsung S95B. Now, before anyone tries to play armchair expert and try to help me diagnose my problem of having custom completely glitch out and bug out, to further prove that this is a software issue and you can't just solve it using basic end user methods, and I have to say that way because a lot of people, I kid you not, when I have these issues and they show up on video, all want to like start giving me advice, like as if I don't already know the basic stuff to do, and then obviously the more advanced stuff as a master calibrator. It's really offensive, but people do that. I'm sure you've kind of experienced that in your life with something you're really good at. So this is no different. So we do have to be a little bit dramatic at this part and show you. If we go to custom here, okay, we can go select it, but now let's go to the bottom and hit reset. This is going to reset the color space. Resetting the color space does nothing, okay? So it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to be able to get around this bug. This needs to be patched out. This is an actual issue of the television. Now you can try to factory reset the TV and hope that that works, but I've already put so many hours into my settings and I'm not willing to go back and do all of that all over again because custom doesn't work. So this is, again, one of those things that you really got to weigh up for yourself. Like Samsung now having some bugs that develop later on that, again, at the beginning of my review process, this was not a thing. I did not have this bug, and now look at it. Bam. Buggy, glitchy mess. So again, I really do have this, like, the worst luck with running into like these defects, if you will, software issues and all that stuff with all these TVs. But again, it just kind of goes to show you what I'm talking about. As things and as time goes on, not everything is truly flawless and perfect. Now, again, this TV is totally watchable and it's fine and all that good stuff, but you get the idea and you understand what I'm conveying here. Now, if I'm keeping it 100% real with you all, and I'm telling you exactly how it is, I love the Samsung Q8FN, and I love the Samsung S95B. Both these TVs are great, and I've said it in my comparison video of both. But you have to understand that it is so important that we are docking when we are losing something, because this is how it happens. It never happens overnight. It's 1 year at a time, removing features and making things more inconvenient or less, user-friendly than they used to be, and then we're wondering how our products got so bad in the first place. It starts when people don't do actual reviews, they market the product, and they don't really analyze what goes wrong. Can anyone truly safely say that the Samsung S95B makes any sense right now not having the One Connect box? For those who don't remember, the One Connect box was their brains of their operation. It was literally a single box that was separate from the TV, allowing the TV to be super thin, and then it allows you to put all your HDMI inputs and everything that you would need to hook up sources to the One Connect box. And then you could store the One Connect box separately from the TV, which gave you this super clean setup. And the fact that this expensive Samsung TV doesn't have that is disrespectful. I'm just gonna throw that out there, because they used to do it for TVs that cost a lot less, right? Like back in 2018, the Samsung Q7FN. I mean, for crying out loud, that TV was like a $1,400, $1,500 TV. And here we are paying more money and we're not getting a comparable offering. But of course, if you buy their 8K model, you get the One Connect box. It's disrespect. I mean, you buy their stupid Samsung Gallery TV, you get the One Connect box. Their business model for that doesn't make any sense. And, people who have been around for years reviewing their TVs like I have can easily see what they're losing through the years. And my point with this whole video is, while I love the Samsung S95B and it's totally amazing, I don't want you to think for a second that I'm like on Dream Street and I can't see that there are things that it does wrong and it needs to improve on. So I wanted to articulate some of those things. Now, to be very real with you, the list is pretty short. There isn't a whole lot that this TV needs to improve on because it is great. Now, I know, a lot of people are very concerned with the lack of Dolby Vision. So what I'll do is I'll compare Dolby Vision with no Dolby Vision. And you'll see it in real time, and then you'll be able to make the judge for yourself as to, or determination for yourself as to if it's a big deal that Dolby Vision is missing. But what I will tell you is this: the Samsung S95B is great TV, but it, again, does have some things that it needs to work on desperately. And that's what I wanted to convey here, because I know that may get lost in a lot of the positive narrative that we put out there, that, again, you do run into software issues, you do run into things that it needs to fix over time, and I, again, wanted to kind of articulate that. Now, a special note here. As you guys saw, the metadata kind of crushed out when we calibrated, and you can't really use the custom color space. So for people thinking that that's the app, a lot of people were saying don't use the smart feature app because it destroys the metadata. I don't think that has anything to do with the smart feature app so much as a software bug that exists within the color calibration app, or the color space setting here on the Samsung S95B. So that being said, though, I want to hear your thoughts, and if maybe you've discovered something that you would like changed about the Samsung, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. The #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.